Annette, and welcome to Narrative Nights. So, with me today, I have a very special guest for you. I have Beverly Jean Powers, who's an international best-selling author, and she's a speaker. But she loves storytelling that really enhance educational experiences and enrich emotional intelligence and really foster character development in our young minds. She's a big advocate for anti-bullying, and she does help people transition in out of the foster care system to help build a more compassionate community. So please help me welcome my special guest, Beverly Jean Powers. Hello, hello, hello.
Well, hi, Andra. Thank you so much for inviting me to your show.
Well, I'm very pleased to have you, and I'm so grateful to know that there people are out there doing things for our young minds today, and transitioning them from the foster care system is really big because I don't think there's enough hands in that are really preparing them to do that transition. So I'm very grateful that you have your hands in that and that you're helping out in that because that can
Right.
really change the life of a child, right?
Yes,
You
it
know,
does.
yeah,
Yes.
but people from all walks of life winds up in the foster care system and they get shuffled and lost in the cracks sometimes, and they just need that one person to believe in them to really change their life for the better.
Yes, this is so true. Yes. And I know very well myself because I was a foster child.
Okay.
So that's why, I'm just very passionate about it. And then looking at the statistics when they transition out of foster care, the so many of them fall through the cracks and they end up on the street. The girls end up pregnant within 2 years, and then some of them end up on drugs. And so, my daughter and I, our passion is to train them, to give them skills into technology and digital creation, and just giving them life skills, business, and so that they can survive and thrive when they transition out of foster care.
I did a show on foster care, and I was just surprised how many people age out, and really they just don't have the tools, and it's really says a lot about the system
Right.
because
Yeah.
they're aging out, and why weren't they given the tools that they need from the time they came to you until, because a lot of them winds up in caught up in the sex trade and so much more, abused even further. And um in the show we were talking about that even like the law enforcement, the people that are meant to protect them, really kind of re-traumatize them because they don't know how to deal with these people that probably come from very broken and very traumatic situations already. So
Yes. Yes.
I'm glad that you are taking that experiencing and turning it into something really powerful because you have a lot of ability to change a lot of women's lives.
Yes. And it's where my heart is. So, and perhaps I'll come back and I'll be able to share more about it when we get our programs up and running in our center and everything, because it's full blown. I want a place for them to be able to come live and not have to worry about where the next meal is coming from, where they're going to sleep. So it's a vision that's dear and near to my heart. So I'm really looking forward to being able to get all that done and get it up and running.
So tell me a little bit about your storytelling and what got you interested in writing.
I got interested in writing when I was a teenager. I didn't really realize how much I loved to write. And my eldest sister went to college, and I wrote her a letter. And she called my mom and she told my mother, she said, Beverly is a very good writer. And then she was reading back to her some of the sentences that I wrote to her. And that really boosted my confidence. And I started writing stories. And then life happened, and I went to work. And when my daughter was older, she liked to write too. So we wrote stories and we put them inside of the apps. Is when apps first became out, out the gate. But I was working full time and I didn't have really time to market them and handle that part of the business like I should have. But when I retired, I took my books out of the app and I actually published them. And so the story that I want to share with you all, the series, The Fly and the Cheese, came from a silly Sally song that I used to sing my grandson. He used to hate to go to sleep. He hated to go to sleep, Andra. And I just would rock him in my arms and sing him this song that really made no sense about the flying the cheese, flying to the moon. So one day when he got older, he says, "Mom, do you remember that song that I used to that you used to sing to me?" I said, "Yes. As a matter of fact, I'm writing a book about it." So when they came over for the summer, because I have my mom's camp for the summer, 2 weeks, 10 days, and we just do all kinds of things. I read them the story and they loved it. So then I turned it over to another agency and they published that book for me and it became an international bestseller. So I said, aha. So I turned it into a series because I love stories and I love Fly's character. And my books are about social and emotional learning, making good decisions, critical thinking, and being kind. Well, Fly's not always kind.
No.
So so through my stories, he learns to be kind. And this teaches children how to regulate their emotions so that they can take responsibility for it and to think about how you're treating others, to think about what you're feeling and why you're feeling that way and what are you going to do about it. It's okay to be sad, it's okay to be disappointed, but how you handle it is where the emotional intelligence comes along. How you deal with other people, how you're expressing yourself. And in this book that I want to share a little excerpt from it, Fly was not happy about what happened because he was just so disappointed. So yeah, and I just
How
love
long is
stories.
the book, Beverly?
Yeah, it's probably about 30 some pages. I mean, I can preface to where I'm going to read from and then read the part because in every story is a conflict, and
Okay.
conflict is best shown and not told. I should not have to tell you all the time that, oh, I'm mad. I did not like that. I can show you through my action. I can show you through the dialogue. I can show you through the pictures. And that's all part of writing children's story. It's like leaving some for the illustrator because illustrators love story. They story tell through their pictures and then showing it through the actions of the character.
Yeah, I love children's books. I read children's books also, so I have a lot of fun with them.
Yeah.
Uh,
Okay. Good, 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 good. Yes,
yeah,
yes.
so read something to us today. I
Okay.
love story. I can get lost in a story, girl.
Yeah, yes, yes. So the book that I'm going to read out of today is The Flying the Cheese and it's Face Your Fury. This is dealing with anger. And Flying in the Cheese, this is the second book in the series, and they become best buds after they got through their little snafu in the first book. And so they're going, he's a fly is flying cheese to, they're going to the Jurassic Funscape Park. And so what Fly's all excited. And he's like, "Are we there yet?" And they get there. Jumps off a fly and he goes ahead and he gets his ticket, which is a good segue for teachers to talk about being kind and not being selfish because it was selfish of him. He went ahead, got his ticket, but he left fly behind. I mean, he left cheese behind. So when he saw that cheese wasn't coming, he ran over to he flew over to cheese and said, "Hurry up, get your ticket before they're all gone." And so Cheese had befriended this little boy who was sitting on the bench and he needed help. He was on crutches and his one of his foot was all bandaged up. And so Cheese wants to introduce this new friend to Fly, but Fly doesn't want to hear it. So I'm going to pick up where um, when Fly saw that Cheese was delayed. And then I'm going to take us right up to the part where he didn't like it and how he showed it. And so this is when Fly saw that Cheese was delayed, he rushed over to hurry him along. Fly, I want you to meet my new friend Skeet, she says. And this is where Fly is talking. I don't know if you can see that.
Yeah, I can
Okay.
see it. It's really cute.
Yeah, yeah. And then he says, are you coming or not? Totally ignores what he says. Fly ignored what Cheese had said. And then he says, well, don't blame me if there are no more tickets. Now, he could have got a ticket for him, right? But he didn't. Fly, you're not being very nice, Cheese said. I would like for you to meet Skeet. Skeet, this is my best friend, Fly. Hello, Skeet said in a low, whispery voice. Fly, she said in a friendly tone to remind Fly to be polite. Hi, Fly mumbled. Are you coming? Fly said to Cheese. Yes, but I want Skeet to join us. He's all alone and he doesn't have anybody to help him, Cheese said. And then you can see the dialogue here between the two pages here. Fly looked at Cheese's new friend. What? Are you kidding me? Fly asked. You can't come with us. He'll slow us down. How's he going to climb up the sauropod's neck to slide down the slope? How's he going to buy his lunch? Fly looked down at Skeet. He can't even tie his shoes. Now that's not very nice, is it? This is a good segue for the teachers or the parent to get their child involved to see if they're catching on Fly's behavior. And then she said, we could help him. Ha ha. Okay, I get the joke. So let's get going before you won't be able to get a ticket, Fly said. No, Fly, I'm not making a joke. This is not funny. He needs our help, and I'm going to help him just like you want somebody to help you, Cheese said. Why would I do that? Fly asked, and flew away before Cheese could answer him. Well, he's really angry here. I'm trying to get this.
Yeah.
He's really,
Yeah.
really angry. The more Fly thought about it, but thought about what just happened, the angrier he became.
Oh,
There
look
he
at
is.
that face.
All right, yeah, he's really angry. He knocked over the candy stand. He kicked at the dirt. He threw his best bud badge Cheese had given him in the trash. And so then the story goes on to say, that he decides he'll just go by himself. And then he saw Skeet, the little boy that needed help, flying on Cheese's back, and they had fun. And then he realized it really wasn't fun being all by himself. And he was saying, Cheese was right. So he went and he apologized. Even his lunch didn't taste good. Even all the things that he loved to do, going into the creepy crawler in the dark tunnels, none of that was fun to Fly because he was all by himself. So then he went and apologized, and he said to Skeet, I would like to be your friend too. That's if you have me. And then Skeet said, yes, I would like that. And then Cheese says, aren't you forgetting something? And then he gave him the best bud. And then Cheese gave Skeet, the little boy who needed help, the best bud badge. So it just takes the children through the story of thinking, and then I have some discussion questions in the back for the parents or the teachers to go ahead and discuss. And I like putting them in the back of the book, for
Yeah.
them to
I
discussion
had them
about.
in mind too. I think that it's important, and I think that it helps prompt them to really get not just understand what they're feeling about the story, but what the story, the message is in the story, and to think about
Right.
how they would react in that
Yes,
situation.
yes,
So yeah,
yes.
I've included them in a few of my books, and I think they do well.
Yes, yes. And and the questions also not only on the story, but it takes the question to them too. Like, how do you stop yourself from acting out your anger on other people? And so it gets them to, when we read stories, well, even as readers, we like to feel ourselves in the character. We like to know what the character's feeling and emotionally because we identify with that. And I think that's the important thing is for the children to see that maybe they're not like that, but maybe they're why aren't they like that? Maybe they were like that, or maybe some's being that way to them. And so it teaches them how to regulate their emotions and to think about how beautiful it is to be kind to other children and be kind
Yes.
to yourself. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
really like that. So what's next for you?
Well, what I do is I love stories and I see the power of stories. And right now, I have a coaching program where I'm teaching businesses how to write a children's book about who they are and what they do and why they start their business. And when they do this, I it gets them into schools, it gets them into community center, it gets them in front of children to introduce their profession to them, because a lot of times the schools don't really have this kind of avenue for children to learn about the different businesses. Our business structure has changed. A lot is digital, and our children really need to be kept up with it. So, in helping them to write their book, I also help them to earn revenue beyond the book by make by merch, by creating merch from the characters, because I love creating the cute little characters. And you could do like ensembles on the bed, backpacks, sweatshirts, t-shirts, all kinds of things, so that the children can start wearing positive sayings, positive things that make them feel good. I'm a big proponent of life, and everybody has their own thing, but it just bothers me to see why our society and our younger generation like to walk around with things that represent death. Everything's like with the skull and
Yeah.
all, and glorify it. And God said he comes that we may have life and have life more abundantly. So, and I don't think that children realize that, because they're going to believe whatever adults show them. So I wanted to be more of a positive, good energy, happy feeling. Not that everything all the time is a good energy, happy feeling, but the movies, the music they listen to, it's like it's not always healthy for them. And so
Yeah.
I want them to have a healthy, positive situation
Well,
and
maybe you
business.
should make some more books for adults, because you know what? There's so many adults out there really hurting, and they're passing on those generational stories to those children. So what we're seeing is a direct reflection of what we've given to this
Yeah,
society. Yeah.
yes, I
So
yes,
we
I
have to
agree with
change
that.
with the children. We have to grow with the children.
Well
100%.
said. Yes,
Yeah.
well said. Well said, because they are only going to do what they see us do. And
Correct.
I do have, as a matter of fact, I write different genres. I have a Christian romance suspense series, and that deals with emotions, and it deals with mental illness, and it deals with healing, and deals with relationship and love. And then I also produce a journal. It's a self-care playbook for women over 50 that takes you through a lot of things that we go through when we get to that age, right? And
Mm.
then I have a devotional that goes with it, and then I also have an activity book for children. So I do have quite a few products that I like to that have social and meaningful value into our lives. Not that everybody has to believe like I have to believe, but let's just believe even more positive and put more positivity out into the atmosphere, into the earth. And because, like, we know it's not always a happy time right now, because of so many changes that's going on, and
Yeah.
people feel
There's
like,
so much going on all over the world. And
yeah,
and it's meant to cause division, even um I started doing these shows because there's a million word gap, which I only recently found out about. I mean, because I've been doing books for a while, but there's a million word gap between different economic statuses. So I said, well, what can we do about that? Because that just doesn't make sense to me. If you're poor, you're not entitled to the same education and the same books and stuff. Because I don't know what I would have done without those stories. Those stories growing up helped me through a lot of rough times, a lot of happy
yeah,
times too. So, um, I wanted to do my part and do something, and so I'm out here reading to children. I said they're going to get
Oh,
those books
good.
one way or another, and
Yeah.
I never thought I'd be doing that. Pushing 60 out here reading to
Yeah.
children, but I'm having a lot of fun doing it.
Yeah, good. It's good. So you read to children on your show or YouTube
Yeah.
or
Well, yeah. So all of my shows are on YouTube, but they're also on my TV channel too. So
okay, good.
one is story time with Andra, and the other one's narrative nights, which you're
Right.
on. Yeah, so
Yes.
you're welcome to come on that too. And it's all authors that do children's books and adult books. You do a mix of both, so you could really be on the other show as well
Okay.
too.
Right.
But then I
Okay.
have other shows about healing from the inside out and building community and
That's
echoes of destiny. My girlfriend and I together between us we have over 75 years in healthcare, so we we say it's our destiny to be doing this, and that's what our business is too, because we love what we do. So um
good.
yeah, so I'm just out there spreading positivity. That's what
All right. Well, that's very good. I appreciate that about you. And I will follow up with you, after here to check out your other shows too.
Yeah, so you're welcome to be on any of the other shows. They're just highlights and features. I just put a post on Facebook today and said that, I have so many people on my actual pages that I want to do a show with you. I want to know what lights you up. I want to talk to real people, have real conversations. Let's not just scroll. Let's actually
Right.
start these
Yeah.
conversations, and
Yes.
because that's how things change. That's how we create better paths for ourselves and our children, because
Yes.
the children can only be what we're ready to teach them, right? And sometimes they teach us more than we teach them.
This is true. If we're willing to listen,
Yeah.
that is so true. And I think what you're doing is so important. And thank you so much for what you're doing.
Well, thank you. You're
And
out there, you're out there doing it too. We're like thick as thieves we're in the same path. We're just going
yeah,
about it different way. We
yes,
have a lot of the same message and a lot of the same reasons for doing it. We're just doing it in our own different ways,
yes,
and kids need to see that too, that you can do things in your own way and still get
yes,
those results, and still get those stories out there, and still change. You're doing amazing things with these foster care kids that wouldn't have anybody, no mentorship or anyone to look forward to, and they could be lost. They could be in a
right.
very, detrimental situation, and instead you're reaching out your hand and saying, come, I'm over here.
Yes,
Let me help.
yes,
You know,
yes,
and
yes,
we change lives that way. That you don't even know the impact that has. And not everybody gets that. So thank
yeah.
you.
Well, thank you. Thank you for
So
that.
if people want to get in touch with you, where can they find you, Beverly?
Yes, my website is ms for missbeverlyjean.com. And on that there they could check out my website, and then they'll get a pop-up and they can just send me their email address, or they can give me a call at 302-305-5326. And I would love to hear from them. My books are on Amazon, and that's on the Beverly Powers. And if they put Beverly Powers, the Flying and Cheese, I'll come up, and they'll see my other books, children's books that I have. And also, I'm on Shopify. I have a Shopify store, which I took some of my characters and I put them on some products, so they can visit that. And that's called the flyandthecheesestore.com.
I love that. I love that. So I like the whole idea of merch. In my business, I'm pounds to go. So
Your
I'm
what?
at,
What is your business?
pounds to go.
POUNDS?
Yeah, pounds to go.
Oh
Um,
my, you have to
I help
share
people with
behind
weight
that.
loss, weight loss,
Oh, got you.
thyroid,
I got you. I got you.
and
Yeah.
digestion, digestive health issues. So But I was that person that was overweight and had all those issues, and that's why I help now. So when I was on that journey, instead of overwhelming myself, I just kept telling myself 5 more pounds to go. So,
Oh, I love it.
so a
Did
lot of
you write
people
a
name
book?
it
Did
after
you write a book?
themselves.
Did you write a book called Pounds to Go?
No, I did write a book on weight loss. I just did one on long COVID and its connection to thyroid, digestion, and autoimmunity, how to reverse it. Um, yeah, I write for Brains Magazine. I'm out there doing my thing, talking all about what I
Okay.
do.
Okay,
Yeah,
good.
so I've done a couple of children's books. So yeah,
Oh, okay. I'll have to look you up.
yeah,
Wonderful.
it's all under my name.
Oh, wow.
I
Well,
look
that's
I look younger in that picture because I still had blonde instead of gray, but
well,
um
you are younger. You are young. Let me tell you. We're going to stop being so hard on us as we're, really approaching the golden age. So
I love that I'm so okay with who I am in my life
uh-huh.
today. I've been through so much, and other people say that, how do you do it? I mean, I think that it's made me who I am. I wouldn't take back any of those things because I've grown so much. Even these stories, you know that when you write these stories, we heal too because we can see ourselves in those characters. You know,
Right.
so
Mm-hmm.
when we're talking about kindness, it makes us reflect on, are we kind? You know,
Yes.
are we
Yes.
anything like these characters we're creating? Or when we're talking about honesty and trust, I just did a book on stranger danger because we had done a show on kids that are, they disappearing and nobody knows what happens to these children. So I said, well, why aren't we having conversations with these children more? When we were young, and we're pretty close in age, it was drilled into our heads, by society. I grew up in the Bronx where, you know, everybody watched everybody's children and you knew your phone number, you knew where you lived, Um, so why aren't we having these conversations with our children that you don't belong looking at a puppy in some stranger's van? These
Right.
things are right. So because if we have those conversations, it's better to have them now than to wish we had them later. So I'm finding fun ways to talk about it, that aren't so threatening,
Yeah. Yeah.
because that's what we got to do.
Yeah, that's true. That is so good. That's so crucial. And you're doing lot of things, good things in the community. So God bless you and what you're doing. And I appreciate you doing your part and more.
Well, thank you so much. So it's been really great having you. We definitely going to connect again. And
Yes.
so I don't know. Well, I have your email. I'm going to send you an email because I would like your links to put them under the show because
Okay.
sometimes, distortion in sound or something. So I'll
Sure.
put them under. So on YouTube, they'll be able to see them. And if they want to connect with you, you never know who might need to connect with you for the other things you're doing. Because you do AI as well, correct?
Yes, yes, yes. I'm becoming certified as an AI consultant, and I'm also a certified grant writer. So,
Okay.
I wanted a lot of services that I can offer, my clients, just beyond the writing and publishing their books. Yeah.
Okay, so it's important that they have that and they have ways to get in touch with you because I saw that you are a book coach and stuff like that. So I want them to
Yeah.
know who Beverly Jean Powers is. That's why you're here, girl. They got to know you. They know you do all these things. This isn't about me.
Yeah.
This is about you. So
Well,
I will send you an email after this, and you send me that, and we'll put that under your guy so you can get in touch with Beverly Jean Powers.
yes.
Okay,
Yes.
she's the
I
girl to
appreciate
watch.
it. Yeah. Well, thank you so much for having me on your show. I enjoyed it. It's been fun. And I'm going to have to look up your books as well.
Oh, well, thank
And
you. Thank
follow.
you.
All right.
All right. Thank you so
Okay.
much.
Thank you so much. You have a great
Any
day.
words of wisdom you want to give our audience before we take it out?
Well, I would just say just to be true to yourself and follow your heart, follow your calling, no matter how insignificant or how small it may seem, just do it because somebody's waiting on you. What you have, what God put inside of you, somebody needs. So just do it and be great.
Oh, wow. I love that, Beverly. Thank you so much. I want to thank the audience for coming in, and I want to thank our guests one more time. Beverly, it was amazing having you, and have a good night, guys.
Thank you.